Howdy, howdy, this is Cryptic Grinding back again with an arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I'm going to cover round 1 results for the Void and Star-Lord arenas, then jump into round 2 predictions. So first the results. So we've got a new all-time high for the 4-star feature arena. Sadly to report, I was hoping we have gotten past 4 stars getting so high. And oddly enough, even after the first evidence of playable 6 stars came into the game, as you might have seen that leaked information about the playable 6 stars, we still now have a 20 million cutoff, 20.2 million to be precise, for Void. So this is the all-time high over Hela, even who had Valor involved in November. This is higher than her first round cutoff, and sadly to report, even Blade. And I think Blade, while Void is a great science champ, but not the best, I think Hulk and Quake still are better than Void. Blade is clearly better than Void, but still we have this 20 million cutoff to deal with now. But so probably we're going to always see these high numbers until those 5 stars arenas come out, probably coinciding with the 6-star release. But anyway, that's for another day. Continuing with the results, the top 10% was came in at 4.96, which was also a pretty high number, but kind of I think dragged along with that really high first round cutoff. And even the 11% shard tier came in at 2.5 million, which again is higher than normal. Now jumping over to Star-Lord, where Void was pretty high number, all-time high, we saw a pretty big drop for Star-Lord. Now, even though I called my official prediction at 3.6, I did have a feeling since we just had Star-Lord last month that there was a good chance that Star-Lord's cutoff could drop, and rightfully so. Good thing I called that in the video, because hopefully people were thinking that as well and didn't put too much grind time in them. But anyway, 2.3, that's really a low interest kind of mid-tier, 4-star basic champ, and not the mid-interest champ that we seen last month for Star-Lord. And then we had the 11% tier coming in at 1.5 million. And lastly, kind of as expected, the 3-star arena came in at 1.36 million. Now, this is a little bit lower than we've seen for the last couple of new champs, including Sentry and MODOK, which are closer to 1.5, but still 1.36, almost 1.4 million to 1.5 million. That's pretty regular for what we've seen here. And then the 11% tier came in at 727,000. So, in terms of my round 1 predictions, I predicted the 4-star feature would have a high 18.5, but I didn't think Void, even though he is a decent champ, would push and break Blade and Hela's record, but we saw that he did. These results, the cutoff was within the 20% range, but not within 10%, so it didn't get a chance for an A, or even 15%. It was between the 20 to 15% range, which gives it a C grade prediction. Then we jump over to Star-Lord. Star-Lord was way past the 20%, and anything 20% plus the actual cutoff gets a D. But since it was above, if it's actually below where the cutoff is, then that's actually an F grade. But at least if 3.6 was above where the actual cutoff was, which means people still got the champ against the cutoff. But anyway, jumping to the 3-star arena, this 1.52 was within that 10 to 15% range, which is a B grade. These grades, and combined with the prediction grade so far through this year, brings my cumulative GPA prediction score of 2.7, just almost at a C plus. We'll call it a C and keep on moving there. So what about round 2? Taking a look at round 2, you can see for the 4-star feature arena over on the left that with Blade, the results were pretty similar, but they did drop. You can see around 1 million drop for MODOK and 1 million drop for Sentry, which is one of the more recent. That Blade was all the way back in October. Sentry was, just a few weeks ago. So I think we might be seeing something similar to that. When you look at the top 10%, that orange line in the left-hand graph, you can see that it's been steadily going up. We did see that 4.9 this time, but most often in round 2, you do see a little bit of a decline, not too significant. So I think we will be under that 4.9 number, with the 11% here been steadily going up too, with that 2.5 kind of hanging out at that number again. Now with the 4-star basic arena, now I'm showing you low results, low interest results, as Star-Lord now kind of falls into that bucket. You can see between round 1 and round 2 that there's a general lift minus Gamora. More recently with Punisher and Civil Warrior, you've seen a couple 100,000 lift between round 1 and round 2. Given Star-Lord came in so low and that he's still a decent champ, even though he's old, a lot of people may have him. There could still be people who still need him. I know I need him on both of my accounts. And I've heard from comments from other folks on my videos talking about that they still need at least to dupe them. So I would expect 100,000, that kind of similar jump that we saw for Punisher and Silver Warrior. I think we can expect to see that for Star Lord. Then you can see that 11.25% is kind of going up and down, kind of ebb and flows with the main cutoff as well. And then lastly, when we jump over the 3-star feature arena on the right, when you look at that graph, it shows you between round 1, round 2, and round 1 and round 2 for the last 3 new champs. You can see that we've had a drop in all cases. And if you're wondering where Taskmaster was at, I actually threw him out, his results, because round 1 and round 2, there was a big difference in round 2 because that was when there was a lot of instability with the game. So the scores really plummeted, but I don't think that's a true reflection of kind of what the community does for these arenas. So that's why I pulled out Taskmaster. So these are the most recent valid results, if you will. And in every instance, you can see there's a 100,000 to 200,000 decline between round 1 and round 2. I think we'll see that again here in the case of Void. So, kind of talked through my predictions already on the previous with the grass, but here's the actual round 2 predictions. You can see for the cutoff for the 4-star feature Void on the left, you can see that at 19 million with the top 10% at 4.8 million and 11% coming in at 2.5 million. Jumping over to Star-Lord, I think we'll have that slight bump from 2.3 to 2.6 million for the cutoff, with 11 to 25% coming in at 1.65. And lastly, with a 3-star feature Void, we've seen, with the last couple new 3-star feature champs, there was always that 100,000 to 200,000 decline. I think we'll see around 100,000 decline since it was already kind of on the low end at that 1.3 million for the first round. I think we'll see it coming around 1.23 for the second round, with the 11 to 25% tier coming in at 670,000. These again are my actual predictions. These are where I think the cutoffs will fall, and these are for the veterans bracket. So since this is where I think the results will actually land, I always like to recommend a grind target just to give you a little buffer from where the cutoff is, just in case there's an exception and there's a little more extra grinding than is expected. So if you really want Void, you want to go to 19.5. If you really want Stoller, go to 2.8 million. If you want the 3-star Void, go to 1.28 million. And then you can see the corresponding shard tier cutoff, or I should say grind targets as well. 4.9 for the top 10% 4-star feature, with the 1.7 in the 4-star basic and the 690,000 for the 3-star feature. And again, these are for the veterans bracket. Real quick, when you look at the beginners bracket and intermediate bracket, again, for folks that are watching these videos that aren't familiar with the terminology I'm using, veterans brackets are for accounts that have been in the game and have been not active, that have actually been open since 61 days. No matter if you played every day or not, if you only played a couple days, but once it's been open for 61 days, you're automatically moved to the veterans bracket and you compete against all the players there. If your account has only been open within the last 30 days, you're in the beginners bracket, and if it's been open for 31 to 60 days, then you're in the intermediate bracket. And these are just rough ranges. There's a lot of historical data, and I showed the graph to kind of show what I've looked at for the trends for the veterans bracket. But when it comes to the beginners and intermediates bracket, there's not a good reliable source for current past results. And given there's a lot of fluctuation of how many players are actually in these brackets from time to time, from each arena for that matter, it's hard to really give you a good prediction. Instead of what I like to do is kind of give you just a general range based off of my own personal experience back in August, as well as here recently with my free-to-play account, as well as some input from folks in the community that do me the good favor. Thank you very much, folks, for that, and sharing the results for those folks that are in these brackets. But anyway, for the 3-star feature, around 245,000, you should get your Void. For the 4-star basic, you should be able to get Starlord for 750, maybe 100,000. For the 4-star feature, you need around 1.2 million. And lastly, for the intermediate bracket, the 3-star feature, around 650,000. This is actually quite high. I personally have been able to get the 3-star feature and both for new champs as well for closer to 500,000. So anywhere around 500 to 600,000 should be able to get you that champ. With the 4-star basic, 1.5 was the last reliable information I heard there. And then personally for the 4-star feature, I was able to get Void, but I had to go all the way to 2 million, and I only ranked 179, and there's only 200 given. So I'm guessing right now around 1.8 should be the good number to go for the intermediate bracket 4-star feature champ. So anyway, these are just rough ranges, definitely not any trend analysis that we've seen with similar to the veterans bracket, but just a good rough order of magnitude to consider as you're grinding there in the arena. But anyway, these are my thoughts for round two for the Void and Star-Lord arenas. Would love to hear your thoughts, especially if they're different. Throw them on down in the comment section. We can talk them there. If you have any questions, throw them on down in the comment section. We can talk them there as well. Of course, if you enjoyed this video or like this video, we really appreciate you clicking that like button. And if you like this and other videos I have on the channel, would really appreciate it. Subscribe. Other than that, thanks a lot for stopping by and have a great day.